Do you live in the US and want fast, fresh and tasty meals without the hassle of shopping or all that hard work preparation? Well, don't you worry, as a lazy man, I've got you covered. Try America's #1 meal kit service, HelloFresh, and get yourself fresh, pre-portioned ingredients delivered direct to your door. So why not eat well, stay healthy, and avoid the cost of regular takeout by trying HelloFresh? Just click the link in the description below for a special limited time discount and free shipping as well. Enjoy. Well, it's New Year's Day 2032. Maurizio Pochettino is back in charge of Tottenham, who still aren't winning anything. And we are in a relegation zone with Crystal Palace. A sacking may not be far away at all, so the only thing we've got left is to go down swinging. Today we will only play one game. We're going to build a tactic too. We've given this one long enough, and we are going to throw the kitchen sink at our opposition. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 79 of the Head Coach with me, Daniel. Is there a sacking on the way today? Because we're in the relegation zone, we are 3 points from safety, and we are at the end of a run of horrific fixtures that have led to a pretty awful run of results as well. So today, as well as playing Tottenham and hoping our voice stays intact, we are also going to build a new tactic. Now, I've given this one half a year, and I wouldn't say it hasn't worked in the sense of being a good tactic and being cohesive. At the moment, we look lovely. We're dominating the stats in a lot of games, including against Manchester City and Arsenal in recent weeks, but we're losing them, and that's the long and short of it. We're not creating chances. We're not scoring goals with strikers who should be a threat. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a tactic that is all-out attack, that is aggressive, that is direct and allows our two strikers to play to their strengths. And we are going to see if we can get results, because I fear we're on the end of a sacking soon anyway. We've got United away in a couple of league games. We've got Tottenham away today. If we're going to go down, let's do it in a blaze of glory and play in the way I'd love to play, with the perfect side. So if you're looking forward to seeing us build that and find out whether we get sacked today, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Of course, we may well be job hunting in the next episode. But for now, let's have a look at the schedule and see what's happened since you were last here. And it's very simple. 7 games, no wins, 2 draws. And again, I know we mentioned we dominated the Arsenal game last time, the City game a few weeks back, but we dominated the Leicester and Everton games and we just don't have a goal threat. We have a look at the Premier League. I know we scored a few near the start of the season, but if we have a look at the table in full, we have scored 17 goals this year, less than 1 a game, only worsened by Tottenham Forest, to a bottom of the league. And if you look at our defensive record, it's not brilliant by any means, but it's better or in and around. There's no one up to 13th place there that have conceded less than 1 less than me. So I think we're all right, you know. We're not too bad at the back. Brighton have conceded more. They're in near the top half. We've got to score goals and we're not doing that. So I want to give the strikers a chance. I feel I've got nothing to lose at this point. We've given everything we can. We've got nowhere with it. We'll keep this tactic trained in case it really goes wrong. We've got injuries, we've got problems, and we've gone 7 without a win. The first of those was a 3-0 defeat at Arsenal, where we were firmly outplayed. A 0-0 draw against Leicester, and I still don't know how we didn't win it. A 0-0 draw at Everton, which was probably our best performance of the season, apart from Guy Vaknin, who couldn't hit a barn door. At home to City, we were absolutely phenomenal, but somehow lost 1-0. Cole Palmer scored the goal there. Against United at home, a 3-1 defeat. Chris Lewis with a late goal off the bench. A 4-1 defeat away at Liverpool, despite taking a lead through Keita. And then a 2-0 defeat at home to Arsenal, and we were the better side throughout. We pushed, we probed, and then conceded a late second. There's only so much you can do. It's a big month coming up for a few reasons, because our next 3 away games in the Premier League, or 3 of the next 4, are awful. Tottenham, United, Manchester City. At home, we've got Watford and Fulham. We've got Norwich also. We've got a cup tie also. Our finish to the season isn't actually that bad on paper, but we've got to be in the mix and we've got to be in a job. At the moment, the dynamics are, for the first time, I think, ever in the Head Coach, abysmal on the club atmosphere front. I don't ever remember seeing it that bad. We've just got to do something about it. We've got, as you've mentioned in the comments, we've got so many different personalities. We've got so many who are nervous or anxious during games. we've just got to push and try and do it on the pitch. So let's go through to the fixture. We're not going to worry about the lineups and all of that stuff just yet. Though Oliver Skipp's still going. Spurs have got Brennan Johnson, Matteo Guendouzi, the former Arsenal man, and they're playing my favourite tactic, the narrow diamond. But we can't do that because most of our good players are wide men. What we are going to do, though, is set up a brand new tactic, and we are going for old school English 4-4-2. Back in a moment, once we've put it in place, to start looking at the roles and individual duties. Okay, so due to injury and fatigue, we've got a few players who aren't quite where they would be normally. We've not really got the chance to pick Pulido or Keita, and we are missing Gruznov on the right wing, as well as Castro in centre mid. But this is the 4-4-2 we've gone for in terms of players, roles, and most importantly for today's game, the lineup, of course, as well. But we've got to pick our tactical style and instructions here, and I'm going to sort of explain what I'm doing and why, and then you guys can kind of work out if you agree or not. So mentality for this game will stay balanced, but generally we're going to be positive. Doesn't make a huge difference to familiarity other than maybe being slightly more so on the balance front. We are going to play slightly more direct. We're going to pass into space. The idea basically is get the two strikers in behind, get the two wingers up the pitch and putting crosses in, and get the two fullbacks supporting as well. So focus play down the left and right. We're not going to worry about overlaps. Just get the ball in the box. We're going to play wide, but not very wide, because I still want those balls in behind for the strikers to be central enough that they can get shots away. We're going to have to whip crosses or even go low crosses because we've not got any big men in there. We are going to keep the rest as it is. I don't want to stray too much from the tactic. We want to keep it simple. We're going to distribute to the flanks. We're going to counter. We're going to go quickly so we can try and catch teams out. And then out of possession, literally nothing other than pressing a bit more often and pressing the goalkeeper because, of course, we've got two up there now. So that means that this is the team we're going for today. Let me know what you think of it. The setup, is it a blaze of glory that's going to be successful? Or is it something that ultimately is going to make no difference and we're still going to end up sacked and relegated? It is a shame because you feel if you can get through this season, as the team continues to progress and evolve, we will become quite good. But at the moment, there's only so much time you can wait. And I understand that from a managerial point of view. The team for this game, though, is Jankovic in goal. Kelleher, Esnall, Richards and Clemens in the back four. Yankuto having to play further forward because of Gruznov's injury. He's on the right wing with Mitran on the left. Rothwell and Davis, the two centre midfielders. Davis, of course, covering for Castro. We've gone for a deep line playmaker on defend. Again, play those long balls over the top. And a ball-winning midfielder on support. And then Vaknin and Lewis up front. Ribeiro's there as well. Vaknin's just declining all over the place, to be honest. He's not playing well. Training brilliantly. Scoring goals galore for Israel. But not looking like he can really take on the world. And given the ability he's got there, that is a little bit frustrating. But he's in his advanced forward role today alongside a poacher in Lewis. I just hope that the two of them combine and create some chances. That's not all though. We're going to put on some individual instructions here. So our two wide players are going to cross the ball more often, get to the byline and do that. That's fine. Our fullbacks also are going to cross the ball more often because we want to make sure that they get as many balls into the box as possible. We've got to give our strikers chances. Now, we've got those two and we should have the supporting winger. So there should always be three players in the box. In terms of midfield, the deep line playmaker, Matthew Rothwell, he's in this position. Do we want him to take more risks? Yes, we do. So he's going to try and play through balls that are aggressive and maybe get us in behind a bit more often. We're also going to leave the front two as they are. So Vaknin's running the channels. Then Lewis should be staying centrally. I'm tempted to tell them both to shoot more often, but that's not really worked generally this season. So I'm going to leave it at that. Let me know what you think of the tactic. It's fairly basic. We've not really changed too much from how it's set up out the box. Just the odd little thing that's going to help with our players specifically. So low crosses for two smaller strikers. We've got a relatively unfit bench. We've not got a lot of squad depth, let's be honest. And we're still one of the worst three squads in the division. So if we can survive this spell, the future might look a little bit brighter. But away to Spurs, it's going to be a tricky game. Let's go and get into it. The morale's on the floor. The players are all over the place. We need a miracle today. Clemenson struggling for match sharpness. That is the least of our concerns at the minute. Well, in addition to those we mentioned in the Spurs starting lineup, on the bench we've got the likes of Callum Doyle, Coop Miners and Meslier as sub-keeper, which seems a little bit odd. But let's go and get through the dressing room. Let's go and tell the lads there is no pressure at all. You are setting up in the most basic football tactic with the most basic set of instructions and that suit you to the ground. Now, this is going to be a clash of styles. Spurs have got 4 players in the middle. They could easily overrun us and take the mick here. But what I'm hoping is that we'll be able to use the width, play against them with natural wide players, get in behind, and maybe there'll be space to run into. So it's a chance for a 4-on-4 at both boxes. Now let's see which one of those comes out on top. I think I might know the answer. Now the set pieces are pretty much out of the box. We've kept it as basic as possible. You guys keep telling me I make too many adjustments on them, so I'm keeping them as they are. Gallagher gets the ball away here though. It's straight back to Antonio. These two strikers, they have got to get on the ball here. They're 2-on-2 at the back. They've got to find it. As Guendouzi's in. Chance to go across the box. It is this time. Deflected shot. That would have been just our luck if that had got in. But Jankovic manages to hold it. 2 shots for Spurs, but now we've got a free kick. And that's one of the other things about playing in behind. Can you force fouls, red cards? Mitran shot brilliant, he saved. It's a corner kick here. City are ahead already. Don't need to be worrying about that end of the table. Here's Yankuto with a corner. 6 players in the box. We've got as many in as possible. Richards up, can't win it. And it falls for Esnault at the back stick. He keeps the ball in. It's a corner kick. Really good start from Palace. And here is the corner kick this time. Outswinger from Yankuto. Can we get on the end of it? Esnault and that in there, but nowhere near them. And Rothwell ends up losing out here. Johnson brings it away for Tottenham. Mitran all the way back. Good tracking. And I don't doubt the lad's effort. It's just what happens if we go a goal down. So far, though, much better display. We've just got to create those chances. Because, again, there's still not much happening in front of goal. Albeit against a very good side. Jankovic with the goal kick for Crystal Palace. Do we just accept that we've got a championship strike force? I don't think we have, personally. And you've seen these saves over the years on this channel. We've succeeded with far worse strike forces than the ones we've got now. We can't get it right, and now Spurs are in. Another deflected shot. Jankovic does well with it this time. Chance to bring it away. Big hoof over the top towards Mitran. But there he is, getting up in support with those 2 strikers. We've just got to find them. As Rooney's in, Spurs hit the post and Clemenson gets there first. Thought he was going to have the freedom of the goal to tap in a rebound. We get the ball away. Half an hour gone. We're still in it. Well, approaching half-time, you have to say Spurs have dominated the stats. I don't know that we can call this a resounding success, but we look a little bit better. And the lads look a bit better suited to it, which is important. We've got to look into the second half because Davis is struggling physically, and without Castro, we don't really have the natural backup. Vaknin again, just not getting in the game. And we haven't really got a natural target man either. Ribeiro is, of course, an option, but he's not the best finisher. He's not the quickest. So for now, we're going to stick with what we've got. As Jankovic, big kick downfield. In towards Lewis, who can't get there. The header away is intercepted by Vaknin, though. Rothwell goes back to Richard. Switch have played a Mitran. Has support, but again, that's where we're going to succeed, getting this ball wide. That one is not a good pass, though. Lewis loses out. Vaknin again, beaten by Guendouzi. And I don't know why we're not playing with that width. We talked about it before, but now we're playing central into the hands of the midfield 4 for Spurs, the Diamond. Instead of getting that ball out wide, as we'd promised, we're playing into their strengths. As Brennan Johnson shoots just over the bar, we get away with one there. Davis is absolutely cream crackered. We're going to have to find somebody. I'm not sure who's a ball winner naturally on that bench. I'd argue no one is the answer. We're going to have to find an answer, aren't we? So let's go and have a look at it. Davis will come off. Grombach is an option. He's not the worst midfielder, but again, defensively, he's appalling. I'd argue maybe that Rothwell could do it, because again, he's not the worst, defensively. He is only 2.5 star in that role. Amine Keita could then be the playmaker though, but he's hesitant. And look, maybe that's one of the benefits that's come from what we've changed here. The likes of Jimmy Campbell and Keita were among our weakest in terms of mentality. John Buckley is another one of those who might have come on, but again, not the best mentality at the minute. Morgan Gibbs-White is another option in that sense, but again, is he the best player? Probably not. I mean, it would be Keita who would come on. We'd go Keita there, Rothwell in there. I'm not sure that works, so I might go Morgan Gibbs-White because at the moment it's not about ability, it's not about experience, it's not about anything else. It is all about mindset, and the body language for this 11 is all right. Pulido would be great, but he's not fully fit. And Vaknin, I'm not going to give much longer. He's been the biggest letdown of this save for me so far. He actually did all right last season, but we're going to have to work on getting him service, and more importantly, getting him confident. We're going to encourage our players. We've got 20 minutes to go. Mitram will have to come off because the legs are starting to really go now. Jimmy Campbell on for him. It'll be an inverted winger on support. The right wing's not looking much better. I don't have a particularly natural option out there. I can go Grombach, who would be able to do a job for us for now, and I think that's what we're going to do. He'll replace Kuto. Those two are putting in a real shift out there. There is no chance that Esnault is coming off, no matter how tired he is. We're going to have to gamble on Kelleher because we don't have any other left backs. So Vaknin off for Ribeiro up front. He'll be the advanced forward for now, and we'll leave the last sub in case of an injury or something. We've had a lot of red cards recently, haven't we? I don't want to be left with 10 men and not having a chance to change it. As Gibbs White puts a corner in, Richards up, headed away by Okoli. And again, we're not physically good enough in these battles either, as Grombach's cross is headed away. Brennan Johnson can now counter, but Grombach does really well. They're working hard. You've got to give it for them, the lads. They're still playing for me, if nothing else, as Campbell. Cross in, Morgan Gibbs White. Oh, it's a sitter. And I know Spurs have had, 18 shots to 2 today. But that is an absolutely glorious chance. Probably the best of the match. And it is a really poor miss from Morgan Gibbs White. You cannot legislate for it. You've got to score chances like that. We're going to make the final sub. I'm not sure who with, though. Rothwell struggling a bit. Maybe Cater, but again, we've got no one defensively. So I think we're just going to leave it for now. We'll make it as a time-wasting one late on. Oh, that's the chance. Nearly half an expected goal just on that one shot. And it remains 0-0 into the 90th minute. I mean, in a grand scheme of things, it's probably a pretty good point. But it's not one that we're going to get too excited about. Buckley will come on for Rothwell. He's nervy, which is a concern. But let's just confirm the sub. Try and get this point. It stops the rot. It gives us some confidence. And hopefully, a start of a new era as Buckley tries to play a through ball. Oh, don't let him cost us the game. The time wasting sub in stoppage time, and he's given the ball away. Clemenson does well, though. Jankovic goes long. Come on, one chance. Ribeiro up. Can't win it. John brings it down for Spurs. Out to the right for Pena. He takes on his fullback. He's got plenty of pace to burn. Great early ball. Rooney's in. Every single game. I mean, this one at least you can't say we've dominated. But every game, when your luck's not in, when you're not got confidence, it's these sort of things that happen. Spurs deserve it in the end, but you've got to be fair until that. They've probably only had one good chance in the game, and we had a glorious one ourselves. It's just an accumulation of 22 shots, and unfortunately, we just haven't got the confidence back there. Again, tired legs at the end, a poor bit of concentration, and the better side win on paper and during the game. So another defeat for Crystal Palace. Let's go and see if that does anything to our job prospects, because we are pretty close to the edge here with this run of form, and depending on other results, there could be a gap between us and safety. Well, for Club Vision, we're still rated as a C at the minute, and C+ for the fans, ironically, but there's a game in hand for the two teams above in Southampton and Wolves. I don't know if that's this midweek. It is for Wolves and Southampton. So what we're going to do then, we'll get ahead to the 4th of January, see if they get points. We need Chelsea and Liverpool to do us a favour, because if we go 4, 5, 6 points behind, it could then start to be a problem. The transfer window is open. Dougie has got the chance to get players in. We're going to need him to deliver here. Let's go and get through to Sunday. Just see these few games off. And then we'll try and work out when we're next going to be back and whether we've got a chance of surviving. Because our job prospects, for me, do not look like they're far away from being a problem. Well, it might have only been 2 days since that last-ditch defeat, but it's been an interesting one. We've had an emergency recruitment meeting, as you can see there. The main recommendation of it from the scouting team was that we needed to get a centre-half or a defender in. We were scouting players of 3.5-star ability or more, which is why I'm surprised that Dougie Freedman has gone for this guy, as pleased as I am. 3-star ability, 5-star potential centre-half, 14 million quid. Rodolfo, what is he like? He's pretty good. Look at the jumping reach as well. Can we finally be a threat from set pieces? It may allow us to move Richards out to right back as well. You know what? I quite like that deal. And again, it's one of those with Dougie Freedman, and he deserves credit for what he's trying to do. If we can get through these seasons, we will be good, because he's got a good personality. He's a good young player. We've just got to get a few of them in and bedded in time. So it's a difficult spell for us, but I have every faith that we will get out of it still, especially if Vaknin can end his goal drought. We've had a team meeting with the lads, which was recommended. We got them all on side with that as well. And that's an important thing. You've got to communicate if you're having a poor run. So Huddersfield away is our next game. But first, will we be any closer to escaping the relegation zone? Let's go and see Wolves and Southampton's game in hand tomorrow. And then we'll decide what we're coming back for. Well, there appears to be one little bit of solace out of today's games, which is that Everton were held at Arsenal. Not the ideal result, but not awful. And Wolves and Southampton both lost. So it doesn't look like we're getting any further away from safety, albeit Southampton must have won another game. They've played one more than us now. But Wolves still just 3 points ahead. Leicester and Everton 5, and Fulham, who we play later this month. And I think with that and Norwich around the corner, it's going to give you a nod as to what we're back for. Rodolfo is discussing terms. Let's hope he comes into the club. But if we look at the schedule, and I know it's not far away, but we are going to come back for the final 2 games of this month. Huddersfield is a cup game. It's a potential banana skin. We'll try and get through it. Hopefully that team meeting will do just enough. Against Watford, we've got to try and get a result. Against United, we'll probably lose. But ultimately, the last 2 of January and what happens in the window will probably decide our fate at this club. So Fulham and Norwich, 2 huge games we're coming back for in this relegation scrap. We have a look at the transfer window. If he does sign Rodolfo, that's half the wages and over half the transfer budget. Without sales, I don't think there'll be much more after that. And when there are big links for players like Kelleher, with Manchester City the champions in waiting, and Luigi Castro with the likes of Brentford. So we might yet be losing star players. I don't want to get too excited. But we are coming back for 2 games that I think personally will decide our job. Let me know in the comments what you think of my decisions though. Do you think I've got to try and go down in a blaze of glory? I will be playing with a positive mindset against Huddersfield, Watford, Fulham and Norwich. And hopefully we can try and sneak a point against United like we almost did against Spurs. If you're looking forward to finding out if we can, and you did enjoy this episode though, please do put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe for daily FM23 content. We had a massive episode in our Builder Nation yesterday, the defining one of the series in fact. Please do check it out in the eye above. It was a magnificent dramatic episode. And of course that series will be back tomorrow before this one returns in 2 days time. I hope you're looking forward to all of that. But in the meantime, you can find the other playlist, the Twitch channel, football podcast and blog story up in the eye above. That one's back this week after a 1-week break. And if you're from the US, please do check out the HelloFresh link in the description below. Gets you loads of money off and of course helps support this channel too. But thank you for watching as always. Your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you back here next time for 2 games that may decide our Premier League status and more importantly for me, decide our job.